Good morning, folks. Ron Ray here from Turning 65 Solutions. And for this morning's video, we're going to talk about a topic that comes up quite often. It's on everybody's mind, and that topic is long-term care. Now, long-term care is something that, much like Medicare, can be a pretty confusing topic. There's a bit of misinformation out there about long-term care and about what you can do to actually pay for it. So we're just going to dive right in. I've got a couple of resources that I'm going to bring up for you as we go along, but here's just a quick explanation of what it is and what you can do about it. So what is long-term care? Long-term care is a range of services and support for your personal care needs. Most long-term care isn't medical care, but rather help with the personal tasks of everyday life, sometimes called the activities of daily living, or ADLs. So those are things like bathing and dressing and toileting and transferring and ambulating, things like that. If you need help with those things, that's what long-term care is for. Long-term care generally is not medical care. It's not help with infusions or with catheter care or with ostomy care or physical therapy. That's all medical care, and Medicare does cover most of that. Medicare does not cover help with the activities of daily living. Something else that would be included in that would be meal preparation, light housekeeping, these kinds of things. So there's different levels of long-term care. Probably the entry level, beyond just what we would call community-based care, where it's your friends and family members taking care of you, would be the assisted living situation, where you live in a community or even in a home, a group home, where you're basically taking care of yourself. You don't have a lot of medical needs, but you need somebody to kind of look in on you, maybe come and do some housekeeping, maybe cook some meals for you, do your laundry, things like that. It's not really maid service, because that's pretty easy to get, but it's every day. Somebody's looking in on you and helping you out with those activities of daily living. Maybe they're assisting you with baths, things like that. Then we have home health care. Now, home health care can go both ways. So home health care can be medical and it can be non-medical, and it can be very involved. So nowadays, a lot of people would prefer to stay at home and have their care in their home, especially in the COVID era. I know you've heard a lot on the news about how people died in nursing homes. I don't know how much of the controversy is true or not. That's not for me to get into. All I know is that people want to stay at home instead of going to nursing homes. That's been the case since long before COVID. So a lot of people are going to choose to stay at home and receive that care in their home. And home health care can be as little as an hour a week, or it can be 24/7. And then finally, you would go to a skilled nursing facility. That's the nursing homes, the convalescent centers where people go, and it's they've lots of old-fashioned names for them, like nursing homes, old folks homes, rest homes. It's where people go to die, which is not necessarily the case, but that's kind of the image that they've gotten over the years, and the bad rap that they've gotten over the years. This is where you're in a facility. It's called custodial care, and you have 24/7 nursing care. So there's nurses that work there. There's nurses' aides. There's cooks. They do everything for you. Maybe you're completely incapacitated, and they're literally doing everything for you. Or you need a little bit more help than assisted living, but you're not quite at the stage where you need a doctor's care every day, but for some reason you've decided to go into a nursing home. Okay, so those are the three main levels that we talk about, and all of these can be pretty expensive, with home health care probably being at the top of that list, especially if you're talking about 24/7 home health care. So the need, this is a report that comes from AARP, so they are a trusted source in the senior community. Now, this report goes back to 2017, and I can guarantee you in 2021 it hasn't gotten any better. On average, 52% of people who turn 65 today will develop a severe disability that will require long-term care at some point. And I can tell you that you don't need a severe disability to need long-term care. It can just be so as little as just having a knee replacement or a hip replacement, and that need is going to be temporary, which still may not fall under the definition of medical care where Medicare is going to cover it. Even though it's not long-term care, it's temporary, it's short-term, it's still not medical, and therefore you're going to need to either pay for it out of pocket as a private pay customer or have some other insurance program that will help you foot that bill. And the cost, going back to 2016, this is a study from AARP. I'm going to show you some current numbers here in a moment, but I like to get some data from AARP just because they are recognized as an authority. So in 2016, the average annual cost of a private room in a nursing home nationwide was about $92,000 and $82,000 for a shared room. In the same year, the average cost for home health aide to provide care at home was $20 per hour, with the average aide working an individual approximately 30 hours a week. So the annual cost is $31,000. For assisted living, the 2016 base rate was about $46,000 a year. And I can tell you that in 2020, it hasn't gone down. I'll show you the current numbers here in a moment. But if we just look at those numbers, the average annual cost for a semi-private room, which is what most people will have in a nursing home, is about $82,000. The average length of stay in a nursing home is about 3.5 years. So you do the math there, and you're looking at $287,000 paid out to that nursing home. Now remember, that's just room and board. That's just the non-medical portion of that care. That doesn't include prescription drugs and physical therapy and speech therapy and other medical treatments that are going to be paid for hopefully through your Medicare, your Medicare supplement if you have a good one. But if you have some other plan, maybe a Medicare Advantage plan, you're going to have other out-of-pocket costs associated with that. So how do we pay for long-term care? Well, there's different ways to pay it. Probably the most common that you always hear about is with long-term care insurance. Some people don't like the idea of long-term care insurance because it's kind of a use it or lose it program where you pay premiums over the years, and if you don't use the insurance, you don't really get that money back. Next would be a life insurance policy where you buy a life insurance policy that has long-term care benefits, and then if you don't use the long-term care benefits, your beneficiaries are still getting that tax-free death benefit from the life insurance program. Next would be an asset-based program where you set aside an amount of money in a life insurance policy or an annuity contract, and those are designed to leverage those funds for the purposes of long-term care. That's even better because you get the long-term care benefits, but you also get your money back and then some because it has compounding interest if you don't use it or you change your mind. Number 4 and 5 go together. You would spend down your own assets as a private pay customer, and then if you still needed the care after that, you would go on to the state Medicaid rolls, and the state would pay the balance of the bill after you have expended all of your money. So your Social Security check goes directly to the nursing home, and then Medicaid would kick into that. I think they let you keep something like $60 a month for expenses. Number 6, this is something I'm not necessarily recommending, but it's coming up in conversation pretty often now, and that's a reverse mortgage. You own your home, you have a lot of money tied up in equity in that home, and there's a couple of ways to get to it. One is to sell the house and move out. Another would be to take out a reverse mortgage. Now remember, a reverse mortgage is a loan, and that loan has to be repaid usually at the time of your death or the time when you move out of that house. And there's different ways to do that, and we can talk about that at another date. Again, I'm not necessarily recommending a reverse mortgage. I just want you to know that it's something that's coming up as an option for paying for long-term care. So if we were to look over here, this is a tool from Genworth Financial. They're an insurance company. They're one of the oldest and biggest and one of the few now players in the long-term care insurance market. Most insurance companies that used to be big in this market have gotten out. There's only really a few players left, like Genworth, Mutual of Omaha, Bankers Life and Casualty. I think Transamerica is still in it a little bit. But all the other ones, they're all gone. They really don't get into this. It's because this is a very expensive business for them to be in, and they don't make money on these policies. And that really what it does is it causes them to have to raise rates over time, which of course gives them a bad reputation and makes customers unhappy when they have to raise their rates. So this is their cost of care tool, and what you can do is you can actually put in your area, your state or zip code, and find out what the average cost of care is in your area. So we are in New Braunfels, Texas, so I'm just going to put in our zip code here, and it'll come up here and it'll show Canyon Lake, which is not really true, but it's going to cover the San Antonio area. So you can see these are the monthly costs. So for home health care, it's going to be about $4,300 a month. For community and assisted living, it's going to be about $3,500 a month. And an adult daycare is about $795 a month. And a skilled nursing facility for a semi-private room, that's where you share a room with one other person, is going to be about $5,300 a month. And a private room is going to be about $6,700 a month. If we move that to annual, you're still looking at about $80,000 a year for long-term care. I'm sorry, for a nursing home. You're looking at about $43,000 a year for assisted living and about $52,000 a year for a home health aide. Now, I'll tell you that the little footnote right here says that this is assuming 44 hours of care per week. So if you double that, you can get to 24-hour care is going to more than double this this amount. Now, if we look at the increases from 2019, home health care is going up, assisted living and skilled nursing care is going down. Private rooms are going down because they're not using them as often. Semi-private rooms were up just slightly. I'm not sure exactly what contributed to this. I think the fact that most people are not staying in nursing facilities anymore. Most people are choosing to have this care at home. That's why I'm starting a home health care company called Homestead Family Health. You can, if you're in our area in the South and Central Texas area, you can look us up, homesteadfamilyhealth.com, and we're providing this care because it's a big need in our area, and we like to take care of our seniors. So let's look at another area. So if we look at Austin, it's even more. It's quite a bit more in the Austin area. What about Dallas? It's more in Dallas. Houston. Quite a bit more in Houston. Private rooms, $91,000 a year. Just for fun, let's look at New York. $155,000 a year for skilled nursing facility in New York City. What about California? $126,000 in California. Home health care is quite a bit more expensive in California. What about, let's go Nashville, Tennessee, $94,000. So you can see in the metropolitan areas it costs quite a bit more than it does in the more rural areas or kind of the heartland areas of the country. If we were to go to Utah, $100,000 in Utah. Illinois, 84,000. Okay, so if we just look, it's expensive. You need to have a plan. We help you develop a plan, whatever that is, whether that's long-term care insurance, whether it's a life insurance policy that provides long-term care benefits. It's an asset-based program. We also provide the services here locally. So please, if you have any questions about this, please give us a call. The number is 830-217-6711. Also, check us out on the web. It's www.t65s.com. I'm going to put a link in the description of the video below to our webpage that talks in more detail about long-term care, so you can visit that and take your time reading about it. There'll be some more resources on there as well. In the future, I'll make more videos detailing each one of the programs that we talked about. So detailing how a long-term care insurance policy works, how a life insurance long-term care plan works, and how an asset-based program works. So I gave you about a 2-minute discussion on those topics. In the next videos, I'm going to break each one down specifically. So also, if you enjoyed the information in this video, if you found it helpful, give us a thumbs up on the video down below. That helps YouTube get this video out to other people who are looking for the same information. Also, subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when I do post those other videos. And until next time, hope you have a great day. Thanks, folks. Bye.